Hey, hey, hey. What a beautiful day. um, I know that sometimes I'm very careful about using the English language, and naturally I get another distraction from this deadlight AI. Right? It's just the nature of the beast. It's a circuit breaker. You know what a circuit breaker is, right? And a gyrodome. Distractions, right? Break your circuit, which means break your train of thought. Right? That's the nature. That's the nature of the Beast Technology 666 system that everybody's plugged into. That's the internet. Okay, and so I listened to bits and pieces of Karen, Karen M. McDonald, 13th Arcturian White Bear clan mother, right? And so she mentioned something very critical because bang, a whole library pops up about a couple of videos that I did a couple of years ago. I did one on my Rose Sweet channel, I believe it was, when I talked about a lady that I used to work with, very dear to my heart. Her name is Lay, Lemurian, at Kanaka Mahole, which is known as a spiritual elder, a teacher. She worked in Air Force Communications. She used to live in this island. She was born in Hilo, among the big island of Hawaii. And her and I used to walk the streets together, and we would comment together how genetically mutated everyone was around us. I mean, to find somebody that wasn't mutated, which basically means, like we used to say, they're tone deaf. They can't translate who we are. And I realized how careful I have to be because I'm hypersensitive, running hyper speed, right? I'm a mated chip, right? That's a polarity integrator. I'm an oversoul. So therefore, what that means is I experience perfect balance, right, between the poles, which means I don't hold one electron captive. And there is, pun intended, I don't hold the first true eternal God consciousness, which is eternal love, which is pure as it gets because it's absolute. That's the eternal spirit of fire. That's what purifies us. Yeah, that's purified consciousness. You can't take a picture of that. It's otherwise known as your light potential, right? And your ability to what? Protect your shield, your DNA shield mechanic, which is your template, which is your operating system that you're running to experience who you are, of why we're here. And this ties directly into what she said with so much of the Voyager material, right? On the fire ladders, how they get mutated. Hackers, biofield hackers. Now you're into force beating experiments, who we mate with, right? Being able to map a holographic projection and be able to identify what? The core encryption code of the being that you're with, right? You're mapping the operator, the unit of consciousness that is operating the software, right? Or if you will, the way I've mentioned it many times before, I'm mapping the field. Since I was a little kid, I was mapping the entire field of the entire planet. Actually, it can map in a galaxy or a universe. I did a video on that. Because when you're perfectly balanced, because you're always with one, because you're running at the highest rate of speed, which is hyperspeed, because you're not holding on to one electron to slow yourself down. That's higher intelligence. That's the EFFI field. It means you're running with God. It means God is always in the building, which is what love is. So that means if you're experiencing what love is, experiencing the one, you are not running a muted mic. Why is that? Because you got a lot of fire. You're running with a lot of fire. Right? Yeah, that's what purifies us. So that's one of the reasons why, as a polarity integrator, it's a huge transmutation job. I'm certainly not the only one here. Okay? And this ties directly into the indigos, why they are here. Okay? Because of the D12 transharmonic, which is called a unity wave. Hey, I'm experiencing being in balance with everything else that is in balance. So you're playing music. Musical spheres, the spirit in the sphere. Your biosphere. Your bios, as in bi, like in two-pole operating system. But we're three waves. Because each three-wave bands, 3 bands per dimension, right? It goes 5 and then 15. 15D. Right? Well, we got a thermostat as a voltage regulator. So it's just like this lady that was living in this house. If you've listened to my other videos, what she's been doing to her energy field, right? Now find out now she's gotten out of jail. She wants to get one of her children's ashes that was left in a box. Now, do I want to experience her energy again after what I experienced over the last month here? No, not particularly, right? But she is entitled to her personal property. And hopefully she will be able to have a more positive experience after she gets it back and she can go on. But when you realize that you're dealing with, particularly on this island, why is it so dense on the Big Island of Hawaii? Exactly what Karen McDonald said. She mentioned about how many we could save, which basically means how many mics can we unmute? And that ties directly with what? The implosion point. And exactly what the Voyager workshops talked about. They were choosing implosion. Why? Because they can't make a self-correction in their own DNA, which is based on what? Their blood. Their voltage factor. Right? Are they able to integrate, experience east and west, right? Two magnets come together to become one, which is negative and positive magnetic polarity, the experience being one, right? So now they're not experiencing any conflict. Now they're not experiencing any fight, struggle going on between the push and the pull. I'm experiencing perfect balance in the plasma waves. Wow, I'm experiencing being in a still point, which is still point of a decimal. Yeah, and so the water worlds are in peace, right? Harmony, balance, rhythm. Hey, the waves. Man, I'm experiencing what love is everywhere I'm going. So that means everything that's in your mirror is experiencing what you are, which is what love is. So you're the generator of what love is. That means you're running on the prime generator, which is the primal sound and light field. That means you're always with a one, because you're not holding one captive, which is the first electron. That's how simple it is. Is not holding energy captive, which means not holding consciousness captive. Because if you're using your energy to hold another unit of consciousness captive, then you're holding yourself captive. Because now you're not running with a one. Because the one doesn't hold any energy captive. Because the one is the highest acceleration of electrons. So that it's equally distributed from the center point of every cell membrane, which is from the center point of every star. That's how simple it is. That's why we're here. Save as many as we could. That's why it was such a horrific loss. All you got to do is take a look at the numbers of the indigos. Right? Because when you become a powerful source of food, oh man, they see you coming. A grower, remember the seed in the grower? Mama's a grower. Look what they were growing here. Right? I covered that. These are horrific crimes on a scale that most people cannot imagine. And that's why when you realize what failsafe is in a cosmic level cleansing, that's what Bardo point is. Right? So we know that there are going to be races that will be no more. That's the last hurrah. As a result of the Bardo point, because they can't change the fact that the way that atoms naturally cycle to what? Be in balance. So you have a certain level of time. That's why I've mentioned this before. They were in a race against time. So that means that they're in a race to suck that much more energy as fast as they possibly could to do what? Delay the inevitable. Because they can't put our fire out. So this is where love, eternal love, and forgiveness and compassion plays a part. And why I mentioned one time, they came to the guardians, the councils, the highest councils, okay, because of what they generated, because of what they create, because of what they do with their consciousness, which is a system that doesn't work, because they build things that collapse. And why is that? Because of the natural way that sound and light, the structural integrity of creation itself, is built on perfect balance of consciousness. So there are no distortions in the structure of that creation. So that consciousness is experiencing perfect balance at every consciousness level of creation, like the center point of a cell membrane. Have a great day. We love you all. Be good to yourselves.